In this video, we'll try adding and subtracting, in this case subtracting, rational expressions. We have 4x over x squared plus 6x plus 8 minus 3x over x squared minus 3x minus 10. The first thing we want to do is factor. So we'll do that work over here. And we're trying to factor x squared plus 6x plus 8. Well, for that, we're trying to figure out what multiplies to 8 and adds to 6. And the two numbers that multiply to 8 and add to 6 are 2 and 4. So we can modify this side of the equation by saying it's the same as 4x over the factored version, which is x plus 2, x plus 4. We got those bottom factors by factoring on the side here, our side work. We're going to do the same with the second fraction. Its denominator also needs to be factored. So we'll go x squared minus 3x minus 10. And for that, we're trying to figure out what multiplies to minus 10 and adds to negative 3. And the numbers for that would be negative 5 and 2. Minus 5 times 2 multiplies to negative 10. Minus 5 plus 2, that adds to negative 3. So we can replace this side of the expression with x minus 5, x plus 2. Before we continue on, after we factored, we want to record our restrictions. We want to make sure we remember what x can't be. Looking at these denominators here, x can't be negative 2. If it's x plus 4, x can't be negative 4. If it's x minus 5, x can't be 5. And we have another x plus 2 here, so x can't be negative 2 again. So we've got those three restrictions saved here for later. And we also want to think about our common denominator. That is, what do we need to make the denominator common between all of them? And the answer is one of every factor. Well, they both have x plus 2, so we're going to need an x plus 2. But this one has an x plus 4, so we're going to need an x plus 4. And this one has an x minus 5, so we're going to need an x minus 5. So our common denominator is going to be made up of those three factors. Looking at the first fraction, it's got an x plus 2, and it's got an x plus 4. What it's missing is an x minus 5. So we'll times the top and the bottom by x minus 5. Looking at the second fraction, it's got an x minus 5, it's got an x plus 2, but it's missing an x plus 4. So we'll times top and bottom by x plus 4. And what we get is 4x times x minus 5 all over x plus 2, x plus 4, x minus 5. Subtract 3x times x plus 4 all over. And I'll write the factors in the same order. It doesn't matter what order you write them, but I'm going to write them in the same order so it's easy to see the denominators will be the same. X plus 2, an x plus 4, and an x minus 5. And the good news about that is we can combine these fractions now. We're adding or subtracting rational expressions. This rational expression now has common denominators. We can make one big fraction. X plus 2, x plus 4, x minus 5. One big denominator. In the numerator, we have 4x times x minus 5. Take away 3x, x plus 4. Well, let's see what we have now. The denominator is going to be the same, x plus 2, x plus 4 times x minus 5. The numerator will expand 4x times x, 4x times minus 5, we get 4x squared minus 20x. And over here, negative 3x, remember to take the whole thing, the negative, and times it by what's inside the brackets. I get negative 3x squared. That's the first rainbow, and the second rainbow minus 12x. I continue up here, which equals, like terms, 4x squared minus 3x squared will just be x squared, and negative 20x minus 12x, that's negative 32x, all over x plus 2, x plus 4, and x minus 5. The only thing left to do is make sure that the top doesn't have factors that match the bottom that we could cancel out. It doesn't look like it does, but we'll just check. Factor the top, you can pull an x out of here. leaving x minus 32, and that's as far as we can go. There are no other factors that are going to work. Last step though, just when we're done our question, we've got our answer, we've factored the top, we've factored the bottom, and there's nothing left to do. There's no work, except you have to also state your restrictions. So when we get to this final answer, you put a comma, and you say x cannot equal, and in numeric order, what were our restrictions? They're saved over here. X cannot equal -4, -2, or 5. And that's our answer.